All right, some really exciting morning games, week 12 on Sunday morning on the West Coast, of course, and a couple of outcomes that probably 49er fans didn't want to see, and it looked like they were going to swing the other way. I think 49er fans probably would have wanted to see the Indianapolis Colts take care of business against the Kansas City Chiefs because that really would have knocked Kansas City into a mode of trying to play catch up down the stretch to get into the postseason. I don't think any 49er fans are really too thrilled with the prospect of Kansas City making a late charge and getting into the playoffs. And then also in the NFC, the New York Giants had an opportunity to knock off the Detroit Lions. Detroit, now they're battling for a playoff spot. And as of this moment right now, they have the same record as the 49ers. So they were on the outside looking in before the week began. And now the 49ers and them have the same record. Of course, the 49ers have a Monday night game against the Carolina Panthers, as you can tell by the background here. Now, in a little bit, I'll be heading into San Francisco for our studios for the Sunday night post-game show on NBC Bay Area. So I don't know how much we'll talk about that game, the Buccaneers and the Rams. That game has a lot of impact on the game coming up, the Monday night game, just because Carolina, if the Bucs lose, Carolina would have an opportunity to take over the top spot, at least temporarily, in the NFC South. So that game will certainly have some sort of impact, kind of heightens the importance of the game tomorrow night in a sense that the Panthers, who have been one of the teams that has been among the bottom dwellers in the NFL the last couple of years heading into this year. In fact, when the schedule came out and I saw that week 12 matchup, 49ers and the Panthers, I was thinking, what is the NFL doing? But apparently they knew something. They apparently anticipated a much improved Carolina Panthers team heading into this game this late in the season. Kind of like, again, kind of interesting that I just did not see the logic in a Panthers 49ers game week 12, but here it is. And now all of a sudden it does look like it could be a very compelling game, and it's certainly an important game for both teams. Okay, couple things I want to talk about in this one. I did my 5 to watch, but first off, just wanted to hit some of the injury updates. The 49ers on this day officially ruled out Robert Beal Jr. with the concussion, so that means that he hasn't passed through the concussion protocol, and there's not enough time to get him eligible eligible to play in the game tomorrow night, passing through the concussion protocol. So that means that he will be out. Tatum Bethune will be out, and Eddie Pinheiro will be out. So for Bethune, it'll be Curtis Robinson stepping in for him. And kind of an interesting thing that Kyle Shanahan said on the 49ers game plan interview was that the 49ers have really liked Curtis Robinson. He's a big guy, can play multiple positions at the linebacker spot. They were going to make him a starter last season heading into the week 4 game against the Patriots. And Shanahan actually delivered the news to Curtis Robinson. He delivered the news to Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, who was going to be replaced in the starting lineup. And then, as he tells the story, 20 minutes later, during a special teams period in practice, Curtis Robinson sustains a torn ACL that knocks him out for the season. So Robinson has been with the 49ers since late in the 21 season, and he'll be making his first career start on Monday Night Football. And I have him as one of my 5 to watch because Rico Dowdle, the running of the Panthers, I think Curtis Robinson is going to have an opportunity to make a lot of plays in this game. Robert Beal, he's out, so I'd assume that means Cleveland Ferrell, who was inactive last week, will be up for this game. Also, as I've noted, I don't know, we'll see it, but I think there's a possibility for the 49ers that they're wanting to think outside the box a little bit to incorporate Nick Martin a little bit more into the defense, potentially as a nickel pass rusher. So we'll see if that's something that they choose to do. Then, of course, with Eddie Pinheiro being out with the hamstring injury, it'll be Matt Gay up from the practice squad. So the two guys you could expect to come up from the practice squad for this game for the 49ers would be Matt Gay, the kicker, and also Jalen Graham, a backup linebacker and special teams player. Because it is a Monday game, both teams have until 1 p.m. Pacific on Monday to make any moves that would impact their game day roster. So clearly for the 49ers, it would be elevating Gay and Graham up from the practice squad to be eligible to play in this game. So those are the guys who are out for the 49ers. Also, Luke Gifford, the strong side linebacker and special teams guy, he's questionable for this game as well. For the Panthers, they have 3 starters out of the lineup, including their starting center, Cade Mays, with an ankle injury. And so it'll be Austin Corbett who steps in at center for the Panthers. He started the season at that position before he had an injury in week 2, and that sidelined him. So this will be the 9th different starting lineup on the offensive line for the Panthers here through they're 6-5. So this will be their 12th game, 9th different offensive line starting lineup. Also, both of their inside linebackers, their starting inside linebackers, are out for this game. So that's Christian Roseboom and also Trevin Wallace. And Roseboom is their leading tackler with 91 tackles on the season. Wallace is their 4th leading tackler. So this could be an opportunity for the 49ers to get the run game going, in the sense that, Christian McCaffrey has been the do everything running back for the 49ers, but his average yards rushing still about 0.9 or close to a full yard less than it was throughout his career. So the Panthers are likely to go with Chris Barnes in place of Wallace and Clouden Cherless in place of Roseboom. So that's what the injury situation for both of these teams. Both teams ruling 3 players out. Okay, so I do my 5 to watch, and you can play along. Hit me your 5 to watch 49ers in the comment section below, and this is the way I rank them. Figure Brock Purdy. How can it not be, right? Okay, so he made it back into the starting lineup last week against the Arizona Cardinals. Played pretty well. I mean, he didn't necessarily light it up, 200 yards passing, but had the 3 touchdown passes and played a very sound football. 49ers roll to a 41-22 victory, most points they've scored this season. So this will be his first primetime performance. That'll be a definite storyline. Brock Purdy, the $265 million man, and how's he going to respond? Is he going to be able to take this on his shoulders, allow the 49ers to score more points as they kind of cover for the defense, which has been a little bit suspect here? Another one to watch, Matt Gay. And 49ers have played a lot of close games. I think they're going to continue to play close games. Every point counts. Matt Gay has been very good throughout his career on kicks of 49 or less, 50 or more, not so much. We're talking about a difference in those kicks. The shorter kicks up to 50 yards, 92.4% in his career, and the kicks from 50 and beyond, just 59.3%. So it's got to hit the extra points, has to hit the field goals whenever he's called upon. Also, Diamador Lenore, Ted Iroa, McMillan, the Panthers' top receiver, number 8 pick overall. He's having a really good season, 54 catches, 748 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Teams haven't gone after Lenore all that much. He's hoping that they do, and so we'll see. Will this be an opportunity for Lenore to kind of put his name on the national stage? He leads the 49ers with 2 interceptions. 2 of their three interceptions on the season come from Diamador Lenore. Also, Curtis Robinson, stepping into the middle linebacker spot for this team wearing the green dot. We'll see how he's able to perform in his first NFL game as a starter. As I mentioned, he's been with the 49ers now for a while. They like everything about him. Kyle Shanahan said that he's one of the most respected guys on the team. He's as good a person as they have on the team, and so he's worked his way into this moment. Of course, he takes over for Tatum Bethune, who took over for Fred Warner. So the spotlight will be on number 59, Curtis Robinson, against one of the better running backs in the NFL, Rico Dowdle. And then, of course, the number one guy to watch, Christian McCaffrey. He was asked this week about any added motivation going up against his former team. Of course, he comes over from the Carolina Panthers in that 2022 trade for a second, a third, and a fourth round pick in the 23 draft, and also a fifth round pick in the 24 draft. And all he's done for the 49ers has really been the focal point of their offense. This year, certainly no exception to that, with over 700 yards rushing, over 700 yards receiving. He's very much put himself in the picture to be a thousand back. Once again, could become the only guy in NFL history who's done it twice. Of course, Roger Craig did it. Marshall Faulk did it. McCaffrey did it as well while with the Panthers. And so, big game from him. When you talk about the motivation, and I guess this is exactly how I expected him to answer this question, because he is such a diligent worker, very serious minded when asked about, the Christian McCaffrey revenge game, if you will, even though none of the decision makers are still around with the Panthers. What he said was, there's always added motivation. I take every week extremely seriously. So I can attest to that. He does take his job very seriously. So that's the quick rundown, as the Carolina Panthers are playing pretty good football. Recently they went to Lambeau Field and beat the Packers, and Bryce Young, the first overall pick in the 2023 NFL draft. That was, by the way, the Panthers used one of those picks that they acquired in the McCaffrey trade to move up to number one overall to pick Bryce Young. And he's coming off his best game in the NFL. And so the 49ers defense will have its work cut out. They got to find a way to generate pass rush, get a little bit of pressure on Bryce Young. They also got to find a way to stop the run and, keep the Panthers in third and long situations. And then we'll see what Robert Saleh dials up for this 49ers defense as they look to improve dramatically on what they've done with their pass rush, kind of a lack of pass rush, only 12 sacks through the first 11 games of the season. So 49ers are 7-4. The Panthers are 6-5, and should set up to be a good one on Monday night, as the 49ers are still kind of searching for what this team is all about, since they win to open the season, 3 wins in a row. Then it's been 8 games of back and forth. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, win. So we'll see if they can get a little consistency, a little continuity, and the offense is in as good a shape as it's been all season, perhaps as good a shape as it ever will be this season. And we almost made it through an entire YouTube video without talking about Brandon Aiyuk. But, as I said yesterday, they haven't closed the door on his return this season. And we will see. I mean, trying to predict what's going to happen for this season is, it's probably a fool's errand. There are national reports on Sunday morning that, the 49ers haven't given hope on trying to keep him beyond the season. Of course, that seems a little bit far-fetched. And just kind of reading the tea leaves, it just kind of seems like certainly anything but a given. Some might say maybe it swings far the other way, but certainly not a given that he's going to return at any point this season. They haven't closed the door on that. Shanahan has repeatedly said that he's week to week. So I'm sure after the game on Monday night, as the 49ers then turn their attention to week 13 against the Cleveland Browns, I'm sure that'll be a question again. Would they open up the window for him next week? My guess would be no, because after the Browns game is the bye week. They won't be practicing, and it's a 21-day window that is open for a player coming off of the physically unable to perform list. So my guess would be if they're going to open it, it wouldn't be until the following week coming off of the bye, so that if they need those full 21 days to evaluate him, get him ready to just to see if he has anything to offer the rest of the season, that'd be the best way to do it rather than wasting a week of practice during the bye week when they aren't practicing. So anyway, that's the quick rundown here. Maybe not so quick rundown, but that's the preview 49ers and the Panthers Monday Night Football. And if you get a chance, if you're in the Bay Area, tune in or stay on NBC Bay Area after the Sunday night game, and I'll be on the Xfinity Sports Final show after the game with my good friend Feldy. So again, thanks for watching this video, and that is it for now.